Alpha 3.10 Postmortem is out. They give us these summaries when they're close to releasing the next patch. 3.11 is currently with Evocati and will go to PTU, assuming there are no terrible problems with it, which I do not believe there are. So let's dive into the 3.10 Postmortem. There's a lot of very interesting things in there to get the idea of what they're thinking and what they've done. A lot of the changes in 3.10 were ones which we could visibly see or feel, was the flight model or the targeting or the HUD. Which made 3.10 a pretty important patch, the flight model and the thruster efficiency curves being the most physical thing you can feel when flying anyway. Before we get there, by the way, I haven't done a State of the Squadron in a long time, so I gotta give a big shout out to my Patreon backers, guys. Seen over here, all of you. Thank you very much for your continued support. I appreciate it greatly. Here is your shout out. Back to business we go. Now, in summary, the key features Pillar worked were on these, the thruster efficiency curves and aerodynamics. Now, the first thing I did when I got into 3.10 was jump in the 890 jump. You jump twice in the sentence there. And the first thing that happened was the ship went whoop, and I nosedived and destroyed myself. Why? Because the thrusters were acting a bit differently, and I wasn't used to it. So that was the first thing I noticed, and I think it's very good changes to put in there. The turret and gunnery improvements, the targeting methodology, we'll talk all about these in a second, the ship HUD, the restricted area rework, and high-speed combat, and the rock. Now, the guys I've been watching playing with the rock and gathering resources have been making bank. They're pulling in a lot of money. We'll take a look at that towards the end. So, thruster efficiency curves and aerodynamics. Players have been with us for a while. Remember the hover mode concept, which trialed back in 3.6. Oh, stand back for unpopular opinion, but I didn't mind hover mode. Maybe it's because I've flown model helicopters and drones, and so I'm familiar with the flight mechanics of it. I didn't mind it. If you weren't around for 3.6, what it was is if this is your ship, so if this was a ship, and if you banked to the right, you'd move like this, but to then compensate and stand still, you had to go this way, and then you'd stop. Same thing with going forward. If you tilted forward, your ship would move forward, you'd have to compensate by going back like this, and then you'd stop. I didn't mind hover mode. In fact, if I had no access to Reddit or Spectrum or the Test Squadron forums, I wouldn't have known there was a big problem, because I kind of liked it. But for majority of people, switching from normal flight mode to hover mode threw them off completely. They didn't like it, and so they had to go back to the drawing boards and retry it. So I like the fact that they tried something new, got feedback, and acted on that feedback. And I agree, going from a normal flight model to a hover mode model didn't make sense for most people, but for those of you who've flown drones or helicopters, that's probably okay. So they went back in that asymmetric flight, pushing back to helicopter-style handling. Ultimately, we didn't pursue the idea beyond the initial release due to causing handling quirks and confusing players when the ships switched control modes. I get it. Too bad, but I'm glad they tried it, and at least they gave it a shot. Thruster efficiency curves were designed as an alternative, and that's where we are today. So let's move on to turret and gunnery improvements. One of the persistent questions we had during development was, why should I have a player in my turret when it would be more effective for them to bring along a second ship? Said nobody ever, because everyone I talk to goes, hey, let's go out, I'll be a gunner. A lot of people want to go along for the ride, but the issue is when you have to go do a mission and dish out some DPS, what is better, having a second ship or having someone in a turret? And the problem was the turrets would not be landing shots, so your effective DPS wouldn't be great. You wouldn't get the maximum out of your ship. Pictured over here is the Hurricane, one of the ships which benefits the most from having a turret gunner, upwards of a 3,000 something DPS with a turret gunner, just massive DPS hitting ship there. And basically the Hurricane, the Carrack, the Hammerhead, obviously greatly benefiting from the turrets being able to land hits on their target. In fact, they put up a little chart over here. Not only, obviously, the turrets being improved, but also the fixed weapons. And me being a big fan of the glaive, which I have not flown in I don't know how many patches. It's a hangar queen. It sits there gathering space dust because the fixed weapons. I'm not a pixel precision player. I can't hit tiny targets. I need help, and the fixed weapons were just very, very rough. But look at this. Since the new changes have come in, gimbal assist pretty much steady, but fixed. Okay, the orange is 310, the blue is 39. So in 310, look at the massive difference in kills per user for people using fixed weapons. And yep, definitely a big difference. The Glaive has become a pleasure to fly. Looking forward to the Glaive remake. I really want to get my hands on that. So let us know, CIG, when that is happening. And manual gimbal, no change, but fixed weapons obviously getting a very, very big boost, much to the pleasure of individuals like me who love fixed weapons on certain ships. New targeting methodology, as you have seen, has come in. And the big difference in this, which made, again, ships like the Hammerhead so much more useful, when you can pin a target and share it with your crew. You pin a target, you go, this guy's primary, this guy's secondary, this guy's tertiary. And when primary target is out of range or made a run for it, you go, hey crew, go to secondary target, pin 2 is there, everyone goes for it right away. It makes combat in large groups so much more efficient, and some really, really good changes. If not a chance to try this out, find a friend with a Hammerhead or a large ship, get in there and work together, pin the targets. It makes combat such a pleasure, it really does. So selecting target as gunnery, alright, mark targets, lock targets, nothing really new. We all know how that works, but nice changes, very, very important changes with targeting, which worked very, very well. Now the ship HUD rework, small changes there. The auto gimbal display displayed progression of gimbaled weapons to the target to give feedback on how locked players are. So when the target was within range, your HUD would change a little bit to give the indication that was there. Little changes, but making very big differences. The new reticles and pips look very clean, and the velocity indicator adjustment and thrust meter was displayed logarithmically, and it is there on the left-hand side. As you can see, the lines become more logarithmic in scale. A nice little touch, I guess, quality of life feature there. Now, restricted area rework. Love it or hate it, the splines are in. I like it. I like the splines. If there's one thing I can complain about, is that I want ATC, I want air traffic control, to message me. And I want to be hitting the left bracket to accept landing pad. I don't want to go to my friends list and then, oh, your friends list isn't refreshing, so you have to go to a different screen, click the friends list, maybe Port Olisar ATC shows up there, maybe it doesn't, then you got to click it and then the splines come up. I want to get within range. And we saw this in CitizenCon, didn't we? Chris Roberts was flying close to an ATC and it hailed him. I'm not sure why that isn't in. I'm sure they have their reasons, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work soon enough. So when you go within range of a landing zone, it will hail you, I'm assuming, and you simply have to accept, and it'll give you the splines, and you land. I think this is pretty much perfect. Everything I need to get to a landing pad or a hangar is pretty much in place. The only thing missing is I want ATC to contact me and just hit a button, one touch, and be done with it. Must be on the way. High-speed combat. All right. The problem is jousting. The problem we had was jousting. What's jousting? Well, when you have a ship coming this way and a ship coming this way, and you're flying towards each other very fast, you shoot and you overshoot each other, and then you keep on rinse and repeat, and you're doing this. That's called jousting. Everyone hates it. What you want to do is getting close with your combat. Well, I like getting close to combat. I want to be able to shoot the wings off. I want to be able to shoot the weapons off another ship. But to get close, you have to force slower speeds. How do you force slower speeds? Well, they came up with these solutions. If you go too fast, you'll have increased missile lock time. If you go too fast, you'll have decreased auto gimbal slew rate. You will have restrictions on firing missiles above certain speeds. Makes sense. You possibly shoot yourself down if you overshoot your missile, right? Decreased weapon accuracy and decreased shield strength. Now, if you're wondering, hang on a second, I didn't see any of these. Well, that's because only the top two were in this patch. Increased missile lock time and decreased auto gimbal slew rate. They will be introducing these three, the restrictions on missiles, decreased accuracy, and decreased shield strength, which is the big one, in a later patch. I'm assuming 3.11. So really forcing players to come in closer to each other, use tactics, use maneuvering, and basically give you all the benefits of slow speed. I like it. We have to play around a lot more, go do a lot more combat. But I like the changes and I like the direction they are going with it. Now, the Grey Cat Rock. I will confess I don't own a rock yet. I just haven't gotten around to it. But I've seen plenty of people play around with it. And on the Test Squadron forums, though, people having a competition to see who can bring in the biggest hauls. And they are killing it. There are some miners making bank around 200,000, 250,000 per haul using the rock. So an impressive little mining ship. I hope they don't nerf that. They may. You know what? I don't know. That sounds like too much of a big moneymaker at this point. But as far as testing goes, it's great. Everyone's loving it. It's a real moneymaker. People are making bank and enjoying it. PU live gameplay, coverage used by NPCs, the shotgun AIs. Nothing too much about there. Grim Hex, yeah. If you haven't been to Grim Hex lately, go check it out. There are hangars. You can spawn big ships. Scramble race screens are up. Now, the racetracks are not in. There's a couple of things have to happen on the back end before racetracks can go in. But Grim Hex is going to be cool again. Looking forward to spending more time in Grim Hex when those racetracks are in. Definitely an exciting place to be. Area View Hangars, you've all seen those at this point. New Babbage Shop additions. Okay, also the Penguin. So many of you bought this Penguin in real life too. I keep on seeing them all the time, posted all over the place. And littered all over New Babbage. So a nice little touch and seems to be a big hit with everyone. New Planetary height maps were in, and it's difficult to really understand what a difference this made unless you compare them side by side. There's plenty of side-by-side comparisons if you just Google search it, but it's really made an impressive difference. It's made everything look really good. A lot of concerns people have, they go, oh, Star Citizen's taking so long, it's going to look like crap by the time the game is out. No, the game is always improving and looking better and better all the time. It's a small change, but it's made a big difference. And you don't have to worry about Star Citizen falling behind as far as graphics goes because it's only improving every patch going forward. New minables with Reese the Rock Mining. We created a new size of mineable for use for it. Yes, so certain rocks are best for use with the rock only. I just spoke about that a second ago. Active feature team, body dragging is in. Did you guys see that picture Hasgaha posted of holding the guy over a cliff? I'll see if I can find it put up for you. It's very cool use of body dragging mechanic there. Electron damage, the pistol and the rifle are a lot of fun. If you haven't gotten them yet, go buy them in the store there in game. Lots of fun to use and the effects are pretty. Go check it out. And that wraps up the Postmortem. So a lot, really, there was a lot in 310. 311 bringing us the Armistice Zone changes and a couple other things. Mercury Star Rider, everyone's excited for that. Looking forward to it. And I think that wraps up our video. All right, guys, you know what to do. You like my content? I know you do. Give me a thumbs up there, your comment below, subscribe to my channel. I'll catch you in the next one.